It is clear that the average person today has been misled when it comes to their idea of what constitutes a healthy and nourishing diet. Humans need animal nutrition in order to thrive and have optimal health. This hardware has specific needs, which have been determined from the food and environment of our ancestors. There is actually huge amounts of evidence that early humans were high trophic level carnivores. We were on the top of the food chain. We evolved away from subsisting on low quality plant foods and instead required highly nutrient dense animal foods. And I'm not implying that humans never ate plant foods, because we did. The point is, our bodies evolved to thrive on meat and animal fat. Plants were a side dish or something we ate when we couldn't get an animal. Ancel Keys made a spurious correlation that heart disease was caused by a diet high in saturated fat, and the result of this was that saturated animal fat and cholesterol got wrongly demonized. This opened the door for the processed food industry, low fat products, and the fat is bad paradigm. It also led to the food pyramid and to the call of limiting animal fat as much as possible by replacing it with highly processed vegetable oils. So what was the result of all of this? The result was that our health rapidly deteriorated as obesity and chronic disease took off. We then decided for the past 70 years to blame many of these health problems on the animals we had been consuming for all of human history, instead of on the newly arrived processed and unnatural foods, which we have only been eating for 0.1% of human history. Plants have a much lower bioavailability of nutrients than animal foods. When you eat plant foods, the nutrients have to be converted because they are merely precursors and not actually the available nutrients that our bodies need. We simply can't get the same nutrition from them as we can from animal foods. Red meat and things like eggs actually provide the most nutrient-dense and complete nutrition on Earth, yet people have been deceived into thinking it will give them cancer and that broccoli is 10 times as nutrient-dense. We could also talk about the anti-nutrients in plant foods, which are the way plants defend themselves. I myself eat a diet that's relatively high in plant foods, but at the same time I realize the role that these plant foods have in my diet, and it really isn't an important one, at least nowhere near as important as the nutrient-dense animal products I'm also consuming. These animals literally upcycle nutrients from plants and make them bioavailable to us. We should be grateful and embracing of this, instead of trying to shoot it down. The virtue signaling of eating plants because you care about the suffering of animals is merely a delusion. 25% more sentient animals die producing crops, not to mention how many habitats and entire ecosystems which are devastated in clearing the land for monocropping. Animals are going to die for any food that we are going to produce, so might as well choose what gives you the best nutrition. Honestly, our ancestors would probably laugh, or maybe cry, about how we literally go out of our way to avoid eating animal products today, and no, the cows are not ruining the environment. The fact that we're even talking about animal agriculture when it comes to greenhouse gases and climate change is one big smokescreen, because the real problem is fossil fuels. These three industries on the screen are 80% of the emissions. Many farms who participate in regenerative agriculture are using animals on pasture and are actually putting more carbon into the soil than they are producing. The alternative is that we would just have to grow millions more acres of pesticide-soaked corn, wheat and soy. People talk about meat like there is some magical free source of food with no impact. But we don't have another way to grow enough food to replace meat. And also this food is nowhere near being a good replacement nutritionally. You have been deceived. Animals are the answer to our health and environmental concerns, not the cause. And until we learn this, we will be stuck in a perpetual state of working against nature. This never ends well as far as I'm aware.